La ilaha illallah. Is there any joy in this? And when you ask this brother, this sister, after you offer them some advice or some harsh criticism about their behavior, about their relationships, about their social media browsing, you give them advice. They say, Ya akhi, I just want to be happy. That's why I'm in this relationship. I just want to be happy. I'm looking for happiness. But take it as a rule of thumb, a rule in life. The happiness that you are searching for will never be found in those places that Allah has prohibited. And if you don't understand this, my dear brother, my dear sister, trust me, you will miss the mark of happiness every single time. And that is why Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he says that any individual who becomes attached to something other than Allah Jalla Jalaluhu will suffer at the hands of that thing 3 times. Will suffer at the hands of what? The very object of love. 3 times. The first time you will suffer at its hand is during the chase, as you try to pursue it. The second time you suffer is after you've pursued it. It's now yours. You now fear that it will leave you. And the third time we suffer at its hands is after it leaves us. Is there any joy in that? Is this really a heavenly pursuit, or is that more of a nightmare type pursuit? There is no joy or happiness. Maybe temporary pleasure, but no long-term joy in those departments and domains that Allah has prohibited. And Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he mentions the story that demonstrates this rule so accurately in his book Al-Jawab al-Kafi. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim speaks about a man who was standing outside of his home when a very attractive woman passed by. And she was saying, أين الطريق إلى حمام من جاب? Where's the directions to Hammam min Jab? Hammam meaning a spa, a local spa in the area. And min Jab is its name. Does anyone know the directions to Hammam min Jab? So the man, he was now besotted, and he pointed to the door of his house and he said, I think it's here. So she goes inside, she takes the bait, she didn't know. And he follows her and he closes the door. And she realizes that she is in a very unfortunate circumstance. And he begins to seduce her. So now she needs to get out of this difficult situation. So she thinks of a plan. She says, look, and she expresses fake delight. She said, let's make this night worthwhile. Bring us something to eat. Bring us something to drink first. He said, of course, I'm going to bring you everything you want. And he rushes out of the house. And he forgets to lock the door. And he comes back with his shopping. And guess what? She made a run for it. Good for her. Now he lost his bearings. I mean literally, he lost his mind. And he came out of the house screaming, saying the couplets of poetry, يا رب قائلة يوما وقد تعبت أين الطريق إلى حمام من جابي. Where is that tired woman who once said to me, where is the direction to Hammam min Jab? Where is she? Where is she? He lost it completely. He went insane, repeating these words over and over again, roaming the streets hopelessly. And he lived on for many years until now he was reclining on his deathbed, the throes of death pulling out his soul. And shortly before he died, his friends, they gathered around him and they said to him, say la ilaha illallah. Let the last words that you meet Allah with be the statement of Tawheed, La ilaha illallah, because we know those who die upon something will be resurrected upon the same thing, be it a good deed or a sin. Say La ilaha illallah. And he said, يا رب قائلة يوما وقد تعبت أين الطريق إلى حمام من جابي. Where is that tired woman who once said to me, where is the way to Hammam min Jab? He repeated that till he died. Where is the joy in that? Is that a heavenly pursuit or more of a nightmare that we should avoid? Brothers and sisters, I ask you gently, which of the two is happier? You tell me from a logic perspective, not even a scriptural perspective. Who is happier? Is it individual A or couple A who pursue a relationship outside of wedlock, outside of marriage, under the guise of night? Apparently no one can see them. to spend a short-lived moment of pleasure in the haram, in the prohibited, to be consumed by guilt and pain thereafter, because they know Allah Almighty said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, don't go near fornication, إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشًا, it is an abomination, وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا, and a very evil path to follow. And they know that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had seen the fornicators in their graves before the Day of Judgment, burning within furnaces of fire. That type of guilt consumes them. And should someone knock on their door when they're in the middle of the act, they pounce in fear because they know Allah does not approve, family does not approve, community does not approve. Guilt is consuming them. Then should she become pregnant, the pain and regret is compounded. And then should they choose to abort that child, the pain is compounded. Is this happiness? Or is it individual B who patiently waits for the arrival of that righteous spouse to come to them through dua and dhikr and good companionship and friends and community? They wait using salah as their weapon, and dua and hijab and lowering of the gaze and the fear of Allah and masjid and halaqah and Quran, Allahu Akbar, and the prayer of the night. For them to get married in the halal, in an open ceremony where everyone is invited, and everyone is smiling and exchanging dua and giving gifts. And then should they spend an evening with one another that night, they are at peace because they know وَفِي بُضْعِ أَحَدِكُمْ صَدَقَةً, there is charity in carrying out your sexual relations when it is in marriage. They're being rewarded. And should someone knock on their door when they are in the middle of that act, they are unfazed. Why should they be fazed? We open the door, we don't open the door because Allah approves of us, and our community approves of us, and family approve of us. Who are we to fear? La ilaha illallah. And then should she become pregnant because of that union, the happiness is compounded. And should she deliver the child, there is a aqiqah, a feast, gifts, happiness, a meal, dua, an extension to your heritage, a righteous boy or girl. Their happiness is compounded. Who is happier? They've sold us a lie when they told us that happiness can be found in the prohibited. La ilaha illallah. لا يستوي الخبيث والطيب. Allah said, وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكَ كَثْرَةُ الْخَبِيثِ. The filthy and the pure, they are not equal, even though you may be impressed by the quantity of the evil. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ, so be conscious of Allah. يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, O people of intellect, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, so that you may be successful.